Market update on the 28th. So pretty much as expected, we get a bounce. You can just look at, not on SPY actually, but on QQQ, you can look at the demand zone. We hit it and bounced pretty much as expected. And I still personally am believing that we're going to go higher. But again, SPY is not out of the woods yet because they have the supply zone here at 395.85. It finished right below that. Still needs to clear 401.46, and I still think it could melt up all the way to potentially 410. But this is still in play as well, though. We still have this in play, but it's looking a lot less likely. This looks pretty corrective right here, and so I would expect a move higher on SPY. So that's pretty much all there is to say about SPY. Pretty flat day overall. QQQ is the one that was a lot more obvious in my opinion because we were in a demand zone. In the past video during the day, I said it needs to hold that 4-hour level at 304.54. It hit 304.79 and bounced. Finished at 307.12 outside of the demand zone. And so I think that at this point, if it comes down here and breaks these lows again, then we could say this uptrend's probably over for how big of a bounce outside the demand zone it got. And I'm expecting a melt up now to 321, kind of what I've been talking about. And we'll see how it goes. But again, key levels are holding this at 304.79, and of course the 4-hour. Short term, I think that the area to watch would be right here. So we got a supply zone right here on the 4-hour at 308.16 all the way up to 310.42. So if we're going to go to 321, we might see something like this. Probably going to be up here farther. But you can see how supply zone back to demand one more time, and then a huge go through supply into another supply, maybe back off, but then eventually hit 321 and then come down. And of course, after that, I'm expecting it to come all the way down here to the supply zone, the demand zone down here at 296. So that's the number one thing I see as most likely going to happen, but it is possible still that it sells off lower. We'll have to watch it and see if it can hold 304.50. Microsoft, I'm in Microsoft. I bought at 273.50 today. My thinking was this is probably a second wave. It's not confirmed yet, but I already have this marked right here. This is the, I think it's on the 4-hour as well. 4-hour supply zone right here. We finished right around that. So I think that if it's going to go higher, like I've been talking about 292, then I would want to see something like this probably. This is actually, if this is a third wave, we'd probably be looking at something like this. Whoops. So 288, and then back off, and then get some kind of quick 5-wave move up to here. Something like that is kind of what I'm expecting. But if Microsoft were to go break the lows tomorrow, so let's say it gapped down below 272, then that would be not the best situation because I think this looks like a second wave is finished. So my stop is probably going to be below this low right here if that were to happen. But I feel pretty confident that this is going to melt up. But you never know, so we'll see tomorrow. Let's look at Apple. I didn't really get a chance to look at that today. Apple. So Apple, same thing. I think this is a third wave, similar to Microsoft, but one, two. I think the third wave is, yeah, third wave around 164. But it could go higher than that because the target is still 177. So if you only go to 164, I guess it could just be a long fifth wave. But more than likely, I would expect, let's just see how far this is going to go. Yeah, probably 165 and then pull back, but the overall target is 177 for this move, and I still consider it WXY. The 1.61 fib of the W wave is at 177. So watching that, we can look here and just see if we have any more shorter time frame supply and demand. It hit right here, which isn't really a demand zone. So the 1.61 fib is down here. This looks like a demand zone. So I guess it's possible it could come down a little bit more to 155 before going higher, but we can also look and just see how far it's retraced. It's already retraced at 50% retracement. So we'll have to watch it tomorrow. There is a demand zone right down here at 155. Short term, there is a supply zone right up here at 158 all the way to 159. But again, the overall target is 177. Invalidation on this move right here. Because this third wave was such a long wave, it can come down here at the 50% retracement. But if you get down here at like 153, 154, then I would say this is pretty much invalidated. And I would actually consider this a expanded flat at that point, where we're probably going to come down even farther, maybe even back down here to demand. So we'll have to watch Apple. I haven't really been interested in this one at all. It's really close to supply zone. The demand zone is down here. Not very appealing to me. Meta. So Meta, pretty much as expected, coming down here for a fourth wave. Nailed the demand zone again perfectly right here in the morning, the top of this. So this could be a second wave as well. Let's zoom in here and see. Yeah, it's probably a second wave. And so I would expect it to maybe go to 216 and then go higher after that. Let's zoom out here and look at this on. So this one's kind of weird though, because if QQQ is going to go higher from here, this looks like it could go higher as well. And I guess it's just going to go up here, and I guess that makes sense now. So if this finishes its first overall wave when QQQ is going to 321, pulls back when QQQ goes to 296, maybe even all the way back here to 184. And then the next melt up, it finishes its third, fourth, and fifth waves. So overall target, let's just get an overall target here. Probably like 217 or so. But again, if this is a third wave, and that's going to 216, it could go farther than that actually. Could go to 220. I don't expect it to break this supply zone though. and then let's say it goes to 220, a pullback to 0.78 fib would be the demand zone, and then it could go third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave up to target is 263, I think. Let me make sure that's correct. Actually, it could be higher than that. It could be 277. But again, it could just go to the 1.23 fib as well, which is right around if this is a 1.23 fib, then that's only 220. So that means that this would just be the finish right here. So again, it's going to come down to how this retraces after it finishes this first wave or completes the overall Y wave. Let's go over the dollar real quick. So same thing I talked about in the video earlier. Just look and see how far this retraced. Didn't come back into the fourth wave, I don't think, or the first wave. Nope. Still valid for a move down. And if it moves down here, it can go all the way to, again, like 101, I think. Yeah, 101 to 180. And then I would expect a retracement, or the bearish scenario, again, is just that's the bearish scenario right there. Let's go over Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I think, is setting up perfectly. If the market melts up from here, it's setting up perfectly where it can go up here to 31.4, the target I've been looking for 2 or 3 weeks now. And so I'll just be watching that, see if it goes higher, looking for 31.4. And then that can either be WXY or that could be a third wave. So that will be right into a supply zone, which is already in a supply zone. And so I would expect a move outside of it at some point. But if it rips through there, then we have another supply zone up here at 36.7. Amazon. Amazon is coming down here, down 0.82%. My original thoughts were bearish on this down here because demand is closer than supply. So again, it's going to come down to, is it going to be this? Or is it going to be this? Honestly, looking at it, it looks more bearish to me, but I'm thinking about QQQ going higher and everything else going higher, so I would imagine that Amazon would follow the same pattern. And so this could easily be, because it already bounced out of this daily demand. So this could be like a first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. If you look at where this went right here, or, whoops. If we look at, what was I going to say about this? If 127 is a target, how did I get that target? Oh, I got that target because the overall target down here is 60. And so 127 comes from the fact that I want this B wave to get up here to 127 to make it $20 less than the X wave. So when it comes down here below the A wave, it will hit 60. So again, this pattern is not very clear, but I think that it's going to go higher here short term. It might not go all the way to 127. There is a daily supply right here. Let me make sure that's correct. Daily supply is sitting at right here. It's pretty obvious. So daily supply, we already hit it right here. We could just come up here and hit it one more time and then come down. But anyway, 112.24 is the minimum target on the upside. I think that covers everything except for Tesla. And Tesla, like we talked about in the video earlier, came down, hit daily demand, bounced out of it. If the market's going to go higher, if QQQ is going to go to 321, based on where Tesla's at right now in demand, bouncing out of it, I think it's got to come to at least 198. But based on where this ended and where the bottom is here, you'd expect about 20 points higher than 200, which is 220. And so we'll see if it can get past this daily supply zone. I'm sure up here there's another supply zone. I'd have to look, maybe a weekly supply zone. So kind of right here, let's see. There's one at 213 to 223. But again, that's not a very good supply zone. Maybe there's a weekly. Here's a good supply zone. That's way too high though. So we'll have to just follow it. 220 is a target if it goes to the upside. Again, this is still in play though for daily demand. Sell off to fill the gap. So that's pretty much it. Pretty much going as expected for the upside. We hit demand. Make sure you're drawing these supply demand areas. It makes it so much easier. Makes you way more confident in your position, especially if you don't know exactly where you're at in the waves. So I highly recommend it. There's some people on Twitter that have courses for free that you can just watch, and it's very, very simple to learn. So if you want those, leave me a comment. I'll give you the link to it. But that's pretty much it. Give me a like if you like the content, and subscribe if you like it as well for market updates during the day and usually every day after the market closes. I'll talk to you tomorrow.